All right, good morning again, Wildcats. We can get started now. We got to get going. All right, if you don't know me, I'm Mr. Majewski. If you're new, I'm Mr. Majewski, your principal. Sometimes I go by Juice or Coach or Juiski if people are too lazy to add the extra syllable at the beginning of my name. So, welcome, class of 2024. Glad that you're here. Let's get settled. Let's get focused. We've got several things to cover with you today so we can ensure that we can support you in your journey through high school. We're not freshmen anymore. We're sophomores. We're getting to that point where we need to be thinking about what life is going to be like after we get out of high school. And I think some of you probably learned some lessons last year as freshmen in that you've got to have the credits, you've got to have the attendance to move on to the next grade level. So we want to support you. We do not want to be in a position to give you bad news or to make your life miserable, okay? That's not what we're here to do. We're here to support you. All these people around this room are here to help you have the best high school experience that you can have. And I'm going to introduce some key players in that experience. Again, I'm Mr. Majewski, your building principal. It's an honor to be your principal. We got associate principal, Miss Orr. We got our dean of instruction, Miss Johnson. Assistant principals, Miss Lavelle, who's in the first part of the alphabet, Miss Lavelle. She's in the E200s. Mr. Douglas, still in the B100s. Miss Richardson in the C100s. Miss Kent in the aisle in the D Dinosaur 100s. And Mr. Olin, who will be modeling some dress code for us later on today. Thank you, Mr. Olin. He is in the E100s. We also have Miss Gailey, our lead counselor, and her and her office is very supportive of getting you across that stage in 2024. Before I turn it over to Ms. Johnson, just let me talk about core values for just a minute. If we abide by our CCISD core values, be respectful, be trustworthy, be caring, be a good citizen, then you're going to have a great year. We're not going to have to worry about anything else. Everything will take care of itself. You focus in the classroom and abide by our core values, it's going to be a great year for everyone. Okay? And there's a slide on there that talks about making good choices in terms of alcohol and drugs and vaping, e-cigarettes. I'm going to tell you right now, we do come down on that pretty hard. We've had cases of that already here at Clear Creek High School. Unfortunately, we've sent some kids off to AEP in the first week of school. Kids in ISS for making some choices they should not be making and bringing things to campus they should not be bringing to school. We do have a K-9 that will come on campus periodically and check vehicles, check lockers. They can check backpacks in the classroom. And they will be coming periodically. Also, just know that if we get information that you may have something on you that you're not supposed to have at school, that gives us reasonable suspicion to search you, okay? We don't need probable cause for all those of you who think you know the law. We just need reasonable suspicion. The officers, they need probable cause, okay? And so if the drug dog hits on your vehicle, hits on your backpack, hits on your locker, then that gives them probable cause to search. Don't put us in that position. Make good choices. Make sure you're living the healthy lifestyle that's going to help you be successful in whatever you want to do later on in life. That's just not a good road to go down, and there'll be consequences for that at Clear Creek High School. And with that said, I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Johnson.
Good morning, class of 2024. I'm your Dean of Instruction, Ms. Johnson, and I'm just here to talk to you about one topic that I'm sure you guys are well aware of, which is our honor code. The CCISD honor code has been in effect for you guys for many, many years, but I just wanted to have a quick conversation. You'll have another lesson on plagiarism in ELA class this year, but we need to start understanding that plagiarism it falls right under the honor code, just like any other blatant cheating. And if you're caught plagiarizing and or blatantly cheating on a major assignment here at Clear Creek High School, that your infraction, your consequence will fall under the CCISD honor code. And for those of you that have, unaware of it, you should make yourself familiar. These are the consequences that could happen. And so plagiarism is usually the one that hits the kids the hardest and the most frequently at Clear Creek. So make sure no matter what class you're in, whether it be English, social studies, science, any course, an elective course that has a project, maybe you create a PowerPoint, maybe you're asked to write a paper, any class, it's not just language arts, you've got to cite your sources, okay? If there's no copying and pasting for the internet at all, but if you are using a source in any piece that you write or create here at Clear Creek High School, you've got to cite that source, or you could fall under the CCISD honor code. So let's not have that happen this year. As you can see, it's a long list of things, infractions. It's a stiff penalty. If you have any questions, talk to your teacher. Come see me in C200. I wish you guys the very best year. I look forward to all the wonderful things that you'll accomplish this year, and I'm always here to support you. Have a great day.
All right. So just a few more names too. You got to meet the administrative team. This is also your counseling team. So again, just find your last name over to the right. This is the individual that's going to be helping you a lot throughout your sophomore year, even more so as we get into 11th and 12th grade. Just a reminder that your counseling center provides all kinds of supports for you guys. So not just academic, but also social, emotional. So please make sure you're reaching out to your counselor if anytime you need some assistance. Because ultimately, our number one goal is for 2024 to get you guys across the stage with your class, correct? And for you to pursue whatever dreams, goals, aspirations that you have for life beyond Clear Creek High School. I do want to just cover this a little bit because a lot of y'all last year were at home online in Clear Connections, and now that we're all back together, I want to make sure that y'all fully understand this. It's kind of what Mr. Majewski touched upon a little bit in his introduction, the earning of credits, because it is different from when you were in intermediate school, okay? Once you come into high school, everything is credit-based. This is what determines what grade you're in. So some of y'all probably got your schedules this year, and they said 9 on them still. It's because you didn't fulfill this last year, okay? And we don't want you to come back this time next year with a 10 on it. We want everyone in this room to have an 11. Okay, on their badge and on their schedule. Okay, this is how you do that. Okay, it's by making sure you pass everything. So you have an opportunity to earn 3.5 credits every semester, fall and again in the spring, giving you a total of potential of 7 earned credits. Okay, that's what promotes you each school year. Just because some of y'all are sitting in here with your class of 2024, that does not mean you're in 10th grade. Okay, some of y'all aren't. Okay, so this is how you earn credits. And I did an example for you visual people like me. Let's look at the first semester. This is a sample student. He or she did not pass the first semester of English 2 or the first semester of chemistry. So you can see in the credit column, they did not earn credit. Okay, right now they potentially only earn 2.5 credits. If they stay on this track, they will only end up earning 5 of the 7 credits available to them that will put them behind. Okay, but something to keep in mind, because sometimes this happens. You know, we're learning, we're growing still. These are new content areas. If you do not pass semester 1, your chances of earning credit are not over. Okay, so when you're going into semester 2, January through May, make sure you realize you can average out for the year. Okay, so for example, the student in English 2 made a 62. That student in semester 2 needs to make a 78 or higher, because 78 plus 62 divided by 2 gives you a 70. Okay, so we will go back and give you credit for this first semester. All right, so make sure, just because if you do flub a little bit your first semester here, remember going into second semester, we can make up for it and average out. Okay, all right, so make sure by the end of this year, so May after Memorial Day, you need at least 12 cumulative credits. So that's credits from last school year and credits from this school year have to be 12 or higher for you all to come back with an 11 on your schedule. Okay? Level change procedures for any students sitting in an honors class or an AP class. Okay, you have 2 opportunities coming up if you need to level down for some reason. The first one is going to be the week of September 7th, which will be after your first progress report. Then the second opportunity will be the week of October 12th after your first 9 weeks report card. We will have an online form posted in It's Learning that I will open up on those 2 dates for you if you need to. And the form is only open for 4 days. Okay, that's the only time that you can level down from an honors or AP course. Right, don't forget, we do have counselors available in the cafeteria, the counselor corner. Come and see us. Stop by the counseling center. We are up front, kind of by the main entry, by the nurse's office. We hope to be working with you guys and making your sophomore year successful. Who's next?
All right, sophomores, just a quick note about verification of enrollment. If at any point in time this school year you are going to go and get your learner's permit or your driver's license, the DMV requires that you have what is called a verification of enrollment that confirms that you are in fact a student at Clear Creek High School. There are a couple of things that you have to do in order to receive this verification of enrollment. The first piece is your attendance is a component here. You have to be in attendance at school 90% of the time in order to receive a verification of enrollment. And we go off of the semester prior to when you're requesting it. So if you need a VOE here this fall, we'll go based on your spring 2021 attendance. If you need a VOE in the spring of 2022, we'll use your current attendance this fall. So attendance is one component. You also have to be clear of all fees and fines, and you have to have turned in your proof of residency. So those are just a few pieces of documentation that you need to keep in mind if you're going to need to request a VOE. The way that you request a VOE, you will log on to It's Learning, and there is a link. You'll submit your name and your student ID number, and it will generate an email to my secretary. She'll check and make sure that all of these things that we've talked about are in good working order, and if they are, she'll send it to your school email account within 24 to 48 hours of your request. You have to request these 24 to 48 hours in advance. You can't request it the morning of your appointment, okay? The turnaround is not that quick. All right, and they are good for 30 days after you request them, okay? And now for the highlight of our presentation.
Good morning. So, I am going to talk about dress code. As you can see, we have Mr. Olin on the stage, and it is very important that you all listen to this and you pay attention. So, as you can see, Mr. Olin has a hoodie on, which is not allowed on campus. He also has a baseball cap on, which is not allowed on campus. You cannot wear beanies or skull caps as well. Also, another key thing would be no shirts that expose the midriff. As you can see, cannot have it. Also, no strapless or tank tops are also allowed. Another component would be gentlemen, pants. They must be worn at the waist. They cannot be below the waist. One of the things for you all to know and understand is that ID badges have to be worn throughout the day, and they need to be on and visible, which Mr. Olin will talk more about in a few moments. Another thing would be any type of garment or accessory that contains suggestive, inappropriate, or vulgar slogans or images or advertise illegal products such as alcohol and or tobacco are prohibited. Any garment that can be interpreted as gang-related is also not allowed on campus or at any school-related activity. An example of a brand that is not allowed on campus is up here on the screen, which is the Cookies brand. You cannot wear that on campus at all whatsoever. Campus administration ultimately determines the appropriateness of the dress of our students. Students in violation of the dress code will be asked to change and will be counted unexcused for any class time missed. Another thing that's very important for you all to understand, because some of you all are talking, which means you're probably going to miss this. So one of those things is that this is considered your warning. If you leave out of here and you have a hat on, it can be taken. So if you do have a hood on or a hat on, take it off now. Another thing, if you have a jacket and your midriff is exposed, go ahead and put the jacket on, zip it up now. This is your verbal warning. As far as electronic devices and cell phones go, they are only allowed between classes and in the cafeteria. They can be confiscated by any staff member. They can be searched by an administrator. Refusal to comply equals additional disciplinary consequences. The first warning, the student may pick it up. The second one is a $15 fee and the student may pick it up. The third one is a $15 fee and the parent may pick it up. And also please remember that we have a earbud policy only.
All right, as you can see, for the 2021-2022 school year, there'll be no campus deliveries. That means during lunch, we're not having any food. It's just a safety protocol for COVID. Attendance. As some of you probably know this, last year we went through attendance appeals. It's probably the first time that you experienced that because that wasn't done at the intermediate level. But you are required by law to come to school and attend every class. If you miss a class, that will be addressed by your assistant principal. That's considered truancy, and at least one day of ISS will be assigned depending on how many classes you've missed and how long that's been going on. But if you miss a class, you can expect to get ISS for a day. If you know in advance that you're going to miss school, if you're going on a trip, okay, please let us know a couple of weeks in advance so we can get that approved. There are 5 discretionary absences that we can approve for you throughout the year, but we can't approve those if we don't know that in advance. So please turn that in before you go. Attendance appeals. Okay, in order to get credit for your classes, you may only miss 8 classes in the fall and then 9 classes in the spring. Spring semester is a little longer, that's why it's 9. Okay, attendance appeals will begin at the end of October in the fall and then right after spring break in the springtime. The pod secretaries will call you down to discuss the attendance appeals. We start early so you don't accrue any more unexcused absences, okay? So again, if you owe hours, we will contact you, the secretaries will contact you, and we'll work with you on those hours. The only way these hours can be approved, the only way the appeals can happen are through D-halls at Clear Creek High School.
So you're going to have one lunch. There's 3 lunch, A, B, C. You get 1. You don't get 2. You don't get 3. You are considered truant if you're taking more than 1 lunch. For your safety and others, we have at the end tables, you're not going to sit there. I need you sitting on the rows, not on the ends of the tables. You can sit in the main cafeteria, the auxiliary cafeteria, or the courtyard. Vending machines are off limits outside of lunchtime, so you can grab something from the vending machine during lunch, but not outside of that lunchtime. Also, make sure we're picking up our trash. We haven't had too many issues, but there's some areas of concern there. Textbooks. If you're in need of a textbook, you need to go up to the E200, so we're upstairs, E200, and you're going to fill out a little pink slip with Ms. Howell. Make sure you put on there what book you need. If you are not sure what book that is, write down your class and your teacher's name so we know exactly what book to get to you. You need to give Ms. Howell about 24 to 48 hours, so don't come in the day that you need the book because we can't guarantee that. Also, if you are an honors or AP student and you level down and you have a book, you need to make sure that book gets back to us. Those are very expensive, so you don't want to get that $100 to $200 fee on your account for not turning that in. So make sure that gets back to us.
We'll talk about IDs. IDs, again, were issued last Friday. Everybody should have an ID. Again, it should be worn and visible at all times when you're on campus. Again, it should be worn and visible at all times that you are on campus. If you happen to lose your ID, we are not doing temporary IDs any longer. If you lose your ID, come to the E100s. We'll issue you a new ID. It will cost you $5. We are not doing temporaries any longer. Okay? In addition, your badge should be able to be used in the lunch line. Some people say they can, some people say they can't. So again, your ID should be able to be used during lunch.
10th graders, this year you may or may not turn 16, get a driver's license, finish driver's ed. You're going to need to apply for a parking permit on campus. They're $35. The application is online. You need to make sure that you have paid all your fines and fees. You have turned in your back to school forms, proof of residency. Once all that's confirmed, we'll send you an email to your student account, and you can pick your permit up in the D100 office from Ms. Walton or myself, Ms. Kent. If you have any parking permit questions, please make sure you come see us. Otherwise, you will get ticketed, towed, or a boot on your car, and you'll be stuck here at school. You don't want to do that. Finally, if you have a need for an academic locker, not for clothes, not for PE clothes, not for soccer clothes, not for football, for academic purposes, if you need a locker, we can issue you one in the D100s. You'll need to come see Ms. Walton in the D100 office if you need assistance with requesting a locker.